Madam Clerk?
No, sir, that's it.
We will move on with our agenda to item 5, which will be approval of our agenda. We've had the agenda and the opportunity to look it over, and what is the will of the board?
I have
Hold
two,
on.
I have two items to add to the agenda, two resolutions that we will need to move forward uh, with LGC with the leasing and financing of vehicles. Those were at your places when you got here. So I would need those added as new business item
J and K?
J and K. Yes, sir.
And they are referring again to,
Resolution authorizing the filing of application for approval of financing agreement as authorized by North Carolina General Statute 160A-20.
and the other.
I'm just seeing this, Mr. Manager, can you explain more about this for the first one that you just called?
We will need it to, just want to get them added to the agenda.
Oh, you have,
We-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We will be discussing, and the next one was.
They have the same name. One is for financing, one is for leasing. We'll talk about the leasing first because that's what we've talked about more in detail.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the consent agenda be accepted with the necessary additions.
Correction, this won't be our consent agenda, this will be, just be our agenda for tonight,
As amended.
plus the additions. Would you restate that motion, please?
I move that we accept the agenda with the items, additional items to be placed on it.
Second.
We have a motion and a second that we accept our agenda as stated to include items J and K, leasing and refinancing. What is the will of the board? Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. Our next item is our consent agenda, which consists of board minutes from our meetings held in September, releases and refunds, and staff reports. What is the will of the board in this matter?
I make a motion that we accept the consent agenda.
We have a motion and a second that we accept the consent agenda. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. We will move to item 7 on our agenda, which is our presentations. Yes, we're gonna ask the manager. We have some new people coming to work for our town at this particular month, and I'm gonna ask the manager if she would introduce them to us and to you as well before we move forward.
We have Ms. Shanita Rogers. She started with us on September 12th as our full-time HR manager. She comes to us with several years of experience, and I think she's already taken charge of the position and organizing some things as that office has not been occupied full-time in a couple of years now. And we also have our interim police chief, Lacey Graham, who was already with the town, rejoining the town after retirement, and assisting us in our interim capacity.
Would you ask them to Thank you, and welcome to Red Springs. Welcome to our staff and being a part of our town. We look forward to some good things and hearing some good things from you and about you. Again, now we will move on to our first presentation, which is item A resolution for Public Power Week, if you would, Ms. Manager.
October 5th through the 11th is Public Power Week, recognized across the country as one of over 70 public power towns in North Carolina. We are doing our part to hopefully educate the public about public power in Red Springs. We have our staff that will be out on Wednesday and Friday from 9 to 12. Again, educating the public. We have some giveaways. We have some t-shirts, some cups. We have some information about various rates in the area if people just want to compare what our rates are for our utilities. And also too, we're also signing up individual residents and customers for free home audits, which will look at your utility bill. They'll walk around your house, look at your insulation and those kind of things, and give you an assessment of where you're possibly losing your energy in your home, which will be pretty beneficial, especially as the months cool, definitely as we get into winter time. So again, an opportunity to weatherize. And we also have a couple of weather kits on hand that will be first come, first serve.
Is there any action that you need from the board?
Well,
on
I
this?
have a resolution recognizing Public Power Week on page 43 of your agenda. If we can proclaim that, it would be great.
You just need a motion?
Well, I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to read it. We can do it by motion, but if you would like to read it also.
You wanna read it? Go
would-
ahead
okay.
and read it.
Whereas public power is a crucial component in cities and towns across North Carolina, driving the overall health of communities by providing unmatched electric reliability, affordability, and sustainable power, excellent local service, and essential jobs in the community. Whereas North Carolina's more than 70 public power cities and towns are among more than 2,000 across the country, providing electricity with a reliability rating of 99.99% to nearly 1.6 million North Carolinians. Whereas many of North Carolina's public power cities and towns have been electric providers for more than 100 years, assisting communities through prosperous times as well as pandemics and economic downturns, maintaining life-saving electricity to homes and businesses. Whereas North Carolina public power communities are part of a mutual aid network that spans the state and country, providing an invaluable support during the times of hurricanes and other natural disasters while maintaining a superior safety record. Whereas North Carolina's public power providers are essential community assets that contribute to the well-being of the community and provide irreplaceable economic development opportunities. Whereas North Carolina's public power utilities are dependable institutions that provide excellent service, valuable energy solutions, and a commitment to the community. Whereas the town of Red Springs recognizes Public Power Week and commends the public power cities and towns across our state and nation for their outstanding contributions to our communities. Now, therefore, the town of Red Springs hereby proclaims October 5th through the 11th, 2025 as Public Power Week in Red Springs and commends its observation to all citizens. Proclaim this 7th day of October 2025.
Thank you. Now we will entertain a motion to adopt this resolution, if that's the will of the board.
I move that we accept the proclamation recognizing Public Power Week, October 5th through October the 11th.
Second. We have a motion and a second that we adopt the resolution to recognize the town of Red Springs and proclaim this as Public Power Week from October the 5th through October 11th. Is there any discussion on this motion?
I've also included the resolution where Electricity has commemorated the final payment to the Sharon Harris debt service that the town was involved in, I guess, 40 or so years ago. So they celebrated that and submitted the final payment in July. So they did send us a copy of the resolution, and it's on display in our lobby downstairs.
That's not a
It's-
part of this, but that part is worth celebrating. Um, you might not understand what that is, but to be a part of public power, and this happened beginning, I think, back in the 80s, we bought into part of a nuclear power plant, and when 3 Mile Island melted down, everything changed, the regulations changed, so our power agency had to take out a loan to pay for the upgrades and meet the qualifications to continue running. And that's when the trouble started. So we couldn't get out of that because nobody would buy it from you. Not just us, as she said, in eastern North Carolina, there were 70 other towns and cities involved in this. And we finally, eventually, got Duke Power to buy the plant from us. We kept the power agency, which is a benefit to us, but we sold the nuclear power plant. Now, we had to take what they gave us and secure another loan to continue paying off the debt that we incurred. And the payments changed because we sold it, but we still had a loan to pay off, and that came to an end as of July 2025. And some of these commissioners and myself were on the board when we agreed to sell it, and we had to take the loan, and at that time, we were told, well, this will come to an end in the year 2025. But at that time, that was a long ways off. And I'm just grateful, and I thank God for being able to see that day. And that's a plus for the town of Red Springs, and hopefully we'll be able to take that and move forward. Again, didn't mean to take up your time, but I felt like that was important and it's good information for all of us to know. So, our motion and second is to accept this proclamation declaring this Public Power Week here in the town of Red Springs. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. Our next item will be item B, resolution for a street honoring Bishop Kenneth Monroe. And as Reverend Mitchell comes to the podium, I would just like to say, if you didn't see the article that was in the Robertsonian, please take a minute or two and go and read that, because a lot of us know Bishop Monroe, and this article details a lot of his life and a lot of the things that he's done. So I'm going to turn it over to you and close my mouth.
Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I am the Reverend Dr. Sharon Mitchell, former pastor for 7.5 years of the historic St. James Mary Zion Church, the oldest house of worship in Red Springs, in fact, founded in 1861. Now I serve as the presiding elder or overseer
You are in order. First, do any of you have any questions for Reverend Mitchell before she takes her seat?
Mitchell, so that what this would entail as far as what we see would be a sign at the extreme of each end, to the north or south, a sign stating that
Yes, nothing changes. Yeah, so that's the positive thing about this type of situation. No one has to take that risk. We're not asking for anyone to do anything that would upset their daily life. But it's that honorary name that sits on flag, Bishop Kenneth Monroe Road.
Memorial Highway.
Housing. And there are, I would like to say, there are some members of St. James here who just came in support of the application.
Thank you. I think that,
since it's a highway, this also has to go through the state.
the DOT, yes, but we will have to,
They said this is just part of the application process, that has to start here. This don't beyond the significant.
okay. So, as part of the application, we will ask if there's anyone who would like to come up and speak in favor of this Memorial Highway. Because as she stated, we need, if the public, they're here, and if they want to have input or got some words they'd like to say, then this is your time to do so.
And while she's making her way to the mic, I'll just add that again, in September 2021, the board approved the motion to move forward with the memorial name. And so again, any action tonight would be to just reaffirm what you've already done. DOT requires that if the packet isn't satisfied within a year, you have to bring it back. So that's what the request is for tonight.
Good afternoon. I am a full-fledged member of St. James Lutheran Zion Church, and I come asking and hoping that this would be favored, because not only will it say something about who Bishop Monroe is, it will say something to other young men and women that were born and reared in Red Springs, where people think nothing good comes out of Red Springs. Young people need to know that you might start at the bottom, but you can rise to the top. And that's what Bishop Monroe did. He defied the odds.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Or is there anyone who would like to speak not in favor of this happening in this audience tonight? If there is no one and the board has any more questions for Reverend Mitchell, we'll say thank you and we'll move on with the business of this board at this time.
Mayor, I
The
make,
motion.
I make a motion that we move forward with the resolution for the street honoring Bishop Kenneth Monroe.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second that we move forward with the adoption of the street or road for Bishop Kenneth Monroe. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. Thank you, Reverend Mitchell. Thank you. Our next item on our agenda is a presentation of a deterrent program. If you would, please approach the podium.
Can you pull that microphone down a little bit so make sure it go, yep.
I am Dina Locklear. I work with the Response Prevention Center. I'm also a retired police officer. Almost 14 times retired. I'm here to let you know about
stay there just a moment in case some of the board members have any questions.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna ask, sir, what counties are you, this involving, just Robinson, mainly Robinson?
Yes, sir, we mainly deal with Robinson, but, we done been all over the state.
Okay,
Wherever they call us to, we go.
thank you.
Now, if we decide to go along with this program, where would the children come from? Red Spring, Lone, what?
The children would come from Red Spring, and what we're trying to do with Red Spring is like, say if a kid get in trouble, that's in school, in the court system, we want to have somewhere where they can go to work at in Red Spring. I don't need them to come to Lumberton, because they might say, I can't get there. But if we come here and we find job employees for these young kids, we already know they got somewhere to go. We already have, what, 3 places here in Red Spring that did a contract with us to hire these kids. So we already been on ground to make the footwork easy.
So do y'all work with the school system, like to find out who trouble youth in the schools?
Yes, sir, we do deal with kids that's in the school system. Matter of fact, the guidance counselor just called us yesterday about a kid they were having an issue with. The parents told us last night when we got here, they called y'all at 2:30. Y'all was here by 4. You know, we okay.
Well, I just wanted to thank you for coming down. I know this is some good information and the opportunity for Red Springs. Great opportunity with the youth that we have here that might be at risk. And watching you guys operate in court on Tuesdays, which I'm there every Tuesday. I thought this would be great for you to come and present this program to the board, as well as the citizens could hear. I see a lot of kids at risk sitting in that courtroom on every Tuesday that they have reached out and helped. So again, I want to thank you for coming and presenting this program, and I think that it will be beneficial to Red Springs to adopt this, or whatever we have to do to try to work with these kids.
So, what would you have us do, or what role would you like the town to play in this as far as helping you with this program, or
Oh,
just what do we need to do with it?
only thing we want to do, y'all, is support. So we can come in and make this thing. We don't want no money from you, so we're not asking for money. We asking for come into your town and help the kids where they need help at. And it's not a liability with these at-risk kids to work dealing with stuff they deal with the city. Matter of fact, Sheriff Wilkins, he signed a contract with us, and some of our kids gonna go to the doghouse and work over there. I think that program, very first class, I think. Yeah, next month. And the good thing about it is, with our program we got, I'm not trying to blow nobody's head up while they in here. We number 1 in the nation. Not in the county,
So-
in the nation.
That's fantastic. That's
What is
great.
the pay? What is the pay that these kids, you know, the range?
Well, what if you, say if a business owner is paying $15 an hour, we will pay $15 an hour. If the business owner is paying, $8 an hour, we will pay the $8 an hour. And what it is, we will pay up to $3,000 for each one of these youth to come and go to work, and they can also go to school.
you're asking us to provide some job opportunities, is that what you're asking?
No, I guess so we are asking you help with, helping us with the jobs for kids. And you know, it'll go real good.
Something like
Does-
landscaping,
does-
and that works well with the cities, as far as like, for public works or something like that.
And do the kids have to be, some that have gotten into some trouble?
They don't have to. They don't have to.
What's the age range?
15 to 24.
So would the town also have to provide the supervision, or does your staff?
But whoever they working with will do the supervision. We will sometimes come through to make sure they know what they're supposed to do. Yeah, they'll do the follow-up. Yeah, now, I just say Mr. Burton won't be doing that for you. Mr. Burton.
If they don't do what they're supposed to do, just like any other job, we wanna let our people in the road program know, that way they can go from there, just like any other job.
Now, an employee can let these kids go anytime. So it's not like they got to keep them because they help. If they see that they're not working and not doing what they're supposed to do, okay, I guess let them know, they can let the kids go.
But it's been successful everywhere else that we've been. And like you said, we're number one in the nation. And we've had New York, Hollis, New Jersey, Chicago want to actually go in and mimic our program, but we can't. We're actually in partnership with New York, which is Metro.
So how many children do you have totally that you in your program?
It would be, up to 400, 425 this year. Just in this area alone. Yeah, over 300.
Any other questions?
Well, I guess if we did join in with you, what time frame are you looking for? Because you mentioned something as ending before Christmas, which we're.
No, the kids, like, if the kids are in the program and they still working, they still work. It's with the program. If these kids will still be in the program, they won't be out the program.
Okay.
This class here is our first class that's going forward.
Yeah, that's the first class that's gonna be
It's just the
started.
first class.
Yeah. Matter of fact, this here, what we bringing you tonight, this just starting up. So you won't be missing a beat.
I mean, it's free.
It's free.
We're paying the salary.
That's the good part of it.
So we'll start out,
Well, I guess that's what I'm getting at. Like, because at some point a cohort ends. So, what's the duration of for one child if they started today? How long? What does that look like?
well, if they're going to, it's about nine, well, it's about 9.5 weeks over the whole course, of the training. They have the lessons. So they have to complete like 36 lessons. And that's done, per unit. So it's 3 units and it's like, I wanna say 3.5 weeks for one unit, 2.5 weeks for another unit. So it's over the course, each class is over the course of, 9.5 weeks.
So is it
And
limited?
so once they complete that first cohort, that first unit, then they can go out in the workforce.
So is it limited to $3,000 per child?
Per child.
That's where
So
that's where the limit is. It's $3,000 per
that's
child.
where the time frame is.
Yeah.
When that $3,000 is.
get some contact information? I think our chamber may be interested also.
Make a motion.
It's on here.
There's no motion.
I think this would be good.
Okay.
Using everything else too, what's that?
Benny, the box you gave me, is that the same stuff? No, that's that. Okay, that's.
So I guess, some of the board members are, probably in the same position. I don't know what action you're seeking from the board, or what if we did want to engage, what do we need to do? If,
Make contact with our, with, OVAC to contact us,
okay,
Ms. Jackie or Hector, and let them know that you're moving forward on this.
okay.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I think we should make a motion to support this program. We do need to get our youth off the streets and give them something to do. So I'd like to make a motion that we in agreement with the deterrence program for our youth.
A second.
I second.
We have a motion and a second that we enter into an agreement and support the North Carolina Youth Violence Prevention Center. Is there any discussion on this motion?
So, Ms. Manager, you're going to be the one that put this forward, contact them, because we can say we're going to enter and agree with them, but we need somebody that's leading this process.
If that is the consensus of the board.
And it is. And it is.
All right. Well, you got a motion on the floor, so
Is
I
there
just want to
any
make
other
sure.
discussion on this
I just
motion?
want to
Any
make sure we
questions,
don't make
comments?
pass a motion and then nothing happens.
Nothing happened, exactly.
I guess my only other question would be, if that's the case, then we have to create jobs.
Yeah.
So if the board doesn't give her a job to create, then our responsibility would be to create a job, because currently there are no jobs. So that would be our part, to create jobs that would fit within the time frame for her to be able to enter into the contract. So that's our part.
We definitely need some beautification
the-
around the
No,
town.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just saying, like, but that's gonna be our part.
Yeah,
That's the board's responsibility.
As opposed to creating a job with these youth to work.
Yes, sir.
Would that be
Definitely need some
more,
landscape.
as opposed to creating a specific job, putting these youth to work where we need them or need some help?
If you need, say, if you need a youth to come over here and clean this building, all you gotta do is say, you want them to work in this building. That's all you gotta say. And
Okay,
they'll make sure you have a youth to work in this building.
all right. Any other questions?
Well, we
or-
certainly got jobs for them. When you talking about doing landscaping, and the Alloway Cemetery needs a whole lot of work. So, yeah, so so Alloway Cemetery.
Yeah.
So yeah, the jobs are there.
Okay. Any other discussion on this motion?
How soon can they start?
You say you gonna go?
I will.
All right, let them make connections, and we'll make it happen.
All right. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. Thank you, and you will be hearing from our manager. Thank you. We don't have any old business, so we will move into our new business section. And the first item, item A, is a customer request from Diane Murphy. Ms. Manager, if you will.
Ms. Murphy had an issue with her hot water heater. I don't recall all of the details, but the finance director, she can fill you in. I know we've had a couple of requests, regarding hot water heaters this year. But I'll let, the finance director go on with this.
Go ahead.
question.
And that's exactly it. She has an issue with the hot water heaters. And if you know anything about hot water heaters, whenever they start to mess up, it can affect your water usage as well as your electric usage. The sewer usage, the adjustment was on the consent agenda because that's already an item that can be submitted to the board on the ordinance. But we always have them to, anytime they want us to consider the electric, we have to bring that before the board because there's currently no ordinance addressing anything to do with electricity other than to either open, whether we overcharge them or undercharge them. That's the only thing that's currently in our ordinance, so we have to bring it before the board for consideration.
What's the amount on this?
Total, this cost is for 2 months, August and September, was a total of $549.58.
She's requesting a refund or a write-off?
Requesting a credit for it to be a lease report.
Didn't we just have a situation?
We've had at least two.
And again, if the customer requests, we bring it before the board for consideration.
So what is the will of the board in this matter?
So what's different? It seems like we just had something like this, I mean, the last
Yeah.
meeting. What's different from that one than this one? Okay.
Well,
Again, if a lot of times it could be the same issue, but again, if the customer requests, we bring it before the board for consideration. It's up to you whether you approve it or not.
Because the last one we denied.
but the last request that I recall was about a late fee that had nothing to do with the town's actions. That was the last request, but as far as adjustments related to hot water heaters, there have been 2 this year, at least, that the board did approve. So your question is anything different? I don't think there's anything different other than the fact that when she had a problem with the hot water heater before, we did an adjustment on the water side. But there was no request at the time for the electric side. And it,
Around the same time last year.
So this request is electric, and it's $500.
500, almost 600.
But is it being measured based on the hot water heater's malfunction, or is it?
Well, what we do is we take an average of the usage 12 months before it had happened. And, in Clearly City, there was an issue where her electric usage did skyrocket. But again, there is no ordinance in place that addresses this type of thing for electric.
Okay. That's clearer.
I think we ought to be consistent. If we gave the last 2 a break, I think we ought to do the same with this year. If we're gonna be consistent, we just.
well, I agree, yes, be consistent, but I also think you need a policy. Because as she said, there's a gap in how we handle these things.
Yeah, we
What-
certainly need I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are other is our electrical persons here? What do other public power, I'm not talking about Duke, or what do other public powers, utilities do in this instance? And like I said, yes, we need to be consistent, but I think we need to stop, because I'm gonna make my hot water heater mess up too. Well, mine ain't, I mean,
Well, you make it mess up, your bill gonna go up.
yeah,
You-
and then I'm gonna ask for a request.
you-
They're gonna deny me, I know, but I'm just saying, but it's in actuality, because if we continue to, I think,
That's why I ask.
yeah,
Can we direct it toward the water heater?
right,
I mean, I just don't think someone is out there intentionally
right,
messing up their water heater so
Right,
their
but we don't
bill
get-
can go up and then they don't have to pay it.
right, but we don't get electric back, and once that, and the other issues I have, even though we have a policy on it, ordinance, is once the water goes to the water treatment plant, we've already paid for it, so when we refund it, nobody's giving us our money back for cleaning it, or we don't. So it's like it's free services. Oh, I'm sorry. You can speak.
I say that if we did it for others in the past, let's do it now until we get some type of ordinance put in place.
So, and that's my thing, and I get we're in a hard place. That's one thing with the electric. It's used. We don't get it back. We can't. You can't. So we paid our bill on our part. So maybe, not maybe. I guess am I in order to ask the manager and the electrical department to, or whatever, put something in our ordinance to be effective next month. Have that so that we can, because it's gonna be an ongoing thing. So we just have a policy where it doesn't happen.
You need to make a policy.
They can present a policy for us to approve.
Thank you.
Until we make the ordinance, and if you guys be in part with the manager to tell us what we need to do in this situation or guide us, then we did it for some in the past, the last couple of times. I wanna be consistent and fair about what we do.
I guess
But it
Until we
sounds
get the
like what we
ordinance.
did in the past was something different. It sounded like there was something different.
it was.
Hmm?
No, I guess my request is that effective November 1, that we no longer, they can have a customer request, but our policy is to either grant extension time to pay, but we don't release. That's my stance on the policy, because the power, we've had to pay it. We have to pay our portion of the bill. I guess, does that make sense? What I'm saying? Like, effect,
We had to buy it.
oh, okay, so then we'll just make a motion. Am I in order, Mr. Mayor?
Motion
I move that we, effective November 1st, I
No,
can't,
you're not in order.
okay, I'm out of order.
We have an item that we're discussing, and we need to settle this item.
And then I can make my
Then,
motion.
If you want to make a motion, you can. But the item on the floor is, do we do or do we not refund?
Miss Manager, would you give me some clarity on what you said we did before?
In this case or in any of the hot water cases?
Yes, you said there were two others that we released or something.
Yes, same request, hot water heater, and, I think one was the Hicks family. Then there was one maybe around January, February or such. Yes. But that was before I got here, so.
So, it sounds like to me, in order to prevent this from happening again, we put policy in place. But right now, we shouldn't do it for someone and then not do it for the other. I mean, I hate the town losing money, but that's what happens when you start you open those cans. When you give it to one,
So are you making a motion to, approve her request?
Making a motion.
Is that a motion to approve?
I'm listening for the rest of the discussion. I'm not convinced. I'm just saying, that's my statement. I don't like doing it for some and not doing it for others.
this point, the board need to make a decision on what they want to do with this item. They either need to approve it or deny it, so we can move forward.
Mr. Mayor, I say approve it. We did it for the last two. I'll make a motion that we approve this one and put something in play for the next. Put an ordinance in place at the next board meeting that we can vote on.
I second it.
Okay, so his motion is to approve this customer request as well as to create a policy on how we handle this type situation in the future. Is that correct?
The
Is
fact
that-
is that we
Amen.
don't have to handle it
Yeah.
from next time. It
Any
can
other
already be handled.
discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. We approve that request, and Ms. Manager, if you would, have us a policy that we can look at the next meeting as to how we gonna handle this type situation moving forward.
Can I ask
I had a
question?
motion for that.
Can I ask a question? I know you want to make a motion, but, and probably, our finance person. What we're about to try to put in place, would it be the same thing that you're already saying is in place for water or something like that? So it's something we can, do.
Well, I guess probably not. It's just something stating that if it's something that's in your area, you want it to be worded, saying that it would not be approved. Because to me, like, for instance, on the electric side, it was an opportunity to, you already paid for it.
so I mean, it's nothing major that we have to do to put this in place. It's pretty simple.
Yes, it is. And like you say, it's kinda like the water. They don't get a refund on the water, just the sewer part that they didn't use. So they
Right.
still pay for whatever water that they use.
Right.
So this policy would be saying, well, you still need to pay for whatever electricity that you use,
Yes. I agree,
okay?
but I just don't like the fact that we did it for somebody.
That's my part.
Yeah, well, we did,
I have a motion, Mayor.
yes, ma'am.
I move that customer requests for electric release or refunds are only given extension to pay, and this arrangement to be made with the manager and finance director.
Second.
Okay, would you repeat that motion again? Make sure it's clear for everyone to hear.
I move that customer requests for electrical release or refunds are only given the extension of time to pay, and this arrangement be made with the manager or finance director.
And we have a second on that.
Is that what you're asking for?
Yeah, and I mean, we'll still bring the ones from the recent years and stuff like that, but she's not mentioning anything about what
Second the motion.
It was already
It was already
seconded. Is there a discussion on this?
Yeah, do we
Should-
really need a motion? You just gave the manager the authority to come up with a policy. Would we approve the policy once she comes up with it?
What you do, to make the two motions there.
Yeah.
Would.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see where a motion would be necessary.
But that's why, but then it becomes in effect, it is your policy. It becomes your policy if we make a motion. We're saying that's the order that we wanna follow.
Well, we gonna have to vote on whatever she present to us. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
When
but
she
I just-
bring the policy back next month, we gonna have to vote on that policy.
But we wouldn't have to, then we vote on it now and we're doing it.
We voting in the blind.
How are we voting in the blind?
Cause we don't know what's gonna be on her policy.
But but it addresses this one specific issue, and that's why I asked before when we were going through it in the motion, I said, let me give you a motion. And you said I was out of order, and so I waited to say, okay, this
I
is
mean,
the
I'm-
motion for the specific piece of what it's with. Now, if there's something else that wants to be added in a policy, that's fine, but I'm just saying, moving forward, if it deals with a customer request for a release of electrical, that they can still put it on there, but we already know that's not something that we're going to address. They just get time to pay it. However she sees fit, or the finance director gives them extra time, extension to pay it. That's your policy.
discussion on that?
What you
motion?
say, Ms. Manager?
I move at the will of the board.
Exactly, but since we have this motion on the floor, we do have to finish this motion.
If somebody comes up here now and they're still
Is there any other discussion on it?
That's the difference.
Any discussion?
Any other discussion?
Okay, I will share this. If the motion goes forth tonight, and it is our ruling, whatever the board decides, if somebody comes tomorrow, then the finance can already say, hey, I can put it on there, but that's the end of it. It's not something that we have to entertain, so we don't have to come back and wait, because the policy's not in place. This gives them something to say, if it's a customer request for electrical, it stops it. But if we continue to wait another 30 days, then somebody can come tomorrow and they have a customer request, and then we're back to the same thing. That was the whole purpose of me wanting the motion. Now,
So-
we can detail and add on to a policy that the manager can bring, but this now gives them something concrete to say, tomorrow, nope, we that can no longer be done. But now if we wanna say, hey, we wanna wait, then that's fine, because you can always add to this policy. This is just giving guidelines for them to act on tomorrow. So then if she has it, it's not gonna be, oh, it's gonna be on our release and refund customer request in November. It stops it.
So this would be a stopgap that they can use until the policy is actually put in place.
Yes, unless, because she may wanna go into more detail about it, or more things in the policy based on what Electric Cities or whatnot may give guidance, but this gives them something to work with, because she said, correct me if I'm wrong, at the present, we have nothing. So then what do they do? And that's why I asked them, the customer request to no longer be put in release and refunds, because it was lumped together, and they were getting through, and there was, because we had no guidance. That's why I asked them to start pulling the customer requests out, and we do them separately to discuss them.
If we don't do this, next week, we'll be,
You can get a lot
Back
of,
in the same
Yes.
spot.
You got a lot of-
500.
and I'm gonna be saying, we did it for the last one.
Right, and we
Yeah,
gotta continue
yeah.
on. So this
So
takes
this
us
would-
out of that if, and, or but.
And she still will bring the
A policy.
policy
Right.
next month to approve, but this gives them something they can work with until we do put the policy in place. So,
All
are
in
there
favor?
any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor of, would you state that motion again,
Yes,
so
I
everyone is clear? It's been such a long time.
No, but this is good stuff. This is what we're
I
supposed to do,
understand.
right? So I move that customer requests for electrical release or refunds are only given extension of time to pay, and they work that out with the manager or finance director. So I'm sure we have a policy about that. So then they work that out with them. That takes us out of it. That good?
Thank you, and that was your second,
My second.
your second. Any other discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. Thank you. We got that out of the way. And item B, potential designation as a distressed unit. Ms. Manager, if you would, this deals with our water department, the water system.
So, a couple weeks ago, Division of Water Infrastructure, reached out to myself and the mayor, regarding our potential designation as a distressed viable utility, based on our score of 9, related on a lot of factors. 9, well, it's a score of 9 out of 26. I've included in your packet some of the criteria that they would have been scoring us on. Again, one of the items was a population less than 10,000. We can't help that. So, and some of the items were pulled out of our audit. Some of it relates to rate. Some of it relates to how much money the utility makes to cover, revenues over expenses.
Movement of money.
Yep, all of those things. So there's a lot of criteria in there. They said that we've kind of waned somewhere between 6 6 1 year, 7 1 year, and now this is a 9. At this time, we have the option to go on to the list voluntarily. I spoke with Withers Ravenel. They agreed that we should go on voluntarily, but I want to make it clear that this is not punitive. This is an opportunity to better assist the utility. It entitles us to compete for a different pot of money. Withers used an example from a town over in Randolph that went on voluntarily and over a period of time was able to get $15 million for their utility system.
Yeah. When they came up with that 9, were you able to see which ones
Yes.
caused us to meet that?
It's on page 53. So again, service population, debt service coverage ratio, transfers in, affordability, wastewater compliance.
So all these right here are ours.
Correct.
Okay.
These are your 9
I
points.
looked these over, so you don't have to go through 'em.
Surplus with debt, operating margin, quick ratio. And then on page 54, I just gave you all of the ratings, things that they would have been scored on. Some of these items are 2 points. Most of them are 1, but some of them are 2. There's even one that's a 4. But where we scored was 1s and 2s.
Well, 3. Yeah, 1, 3.
Them bad numbers.
No.
No,
Our
that
score is
three
a
don't
1.
count. It's the,
Yeah, we're looking at the top line.
yeah, the top line.
Yeah, the top
1,
line.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is 9. You got a 2 for
Surplus with debt. So again, last year we operated at a loss. And again, this is based on the most recent completed audit. Now, I don't think we're going to have that problem this year. We've increased our rates. I know the Council of Government, they've reached out to us also. To see if we were interested in a rate study. Of course, I said yes. But this was before this notice came down. But again, regardless of whether we choose to go on as a voluntary distress unit, the rate study would still move forward.
Mr. Mayor?
And if we score 9 next year, we
It's automatic.
automatically goes on to the list.
It's automatic, but also too, again, it's not punitive. I think if we go on now, again, this is time for us to get into the next pot of money. Because I think the last pot just closed September 30th. We got this notice, September 18th. So we didn't know anything about it. There's no time to get anything together, but the Public Services Director and we've talked. I know that there are needs in the department that we can immediately compete for, and that this pot of money for specific to distressed units would be beneficial to us.
And this would give us extra money to do some much-needed upgrades to our water infrastructure. We'll continue working on it.
All right.
Motion?
Yes.
Yes, yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
Were you doing a motion?
I make a motion that we, I don't know exactly. I gotta go back to the agenda.
Motion to approve entering the Viable Utility Program voluntarily.
Yeah, a motion to enter the Viable Utility Program voluntarily.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to enter into the distress unit viable utility program. Is there any discussion on this motion?
I just wanted to add that there are some other things that we would need to do if this is to move forward. I know there's a resolution that has to be adopted, but I just got the resolution a couple hours before the meeting, and I was already working on something else. But there's some things that we'd have to do, but our full application package would be due November 14th, which we would have time to be able to submit that.
Thank you.
You vote.
If there is no other discussion? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. We will move to item C, resolution to approve municipal accounting service, cybersecurity and technical assistance memorandum of agreement. If you would, Ms. Manager.
We wish to engage the services of the North Carolina League of Municipalities to assist with accounting services. There's other things that are mentioned on the agreement too, but we're not going after those things right now. But if we at least have the agreement, we could. The current fiscal, we have $30,000 budgeted for our accounting services. However, the North Carolina League's cost is free 99, $0 to the town. I think this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But
But I do have a question.
okay.
Go ahead.
The league is covering this cost through their use of COVID ARPA funds through December 31st, 2026. Both the resolution and the agreement would need to be approved through board action
So we gotta do that soon.
tonight.
Yeah.
These are on the agenda now.
So who have we used in the past to help us chew up that 30,000?
We didn't have anyone last year, I don't think. Right. So,
Right.
so if you'll recall, in our audit, accounting services was highly recommended for us, to reconcile our books, to help with some of our transfers, those kind of things. So again, just even setting aside the money in the budget was what was recommended in our most recent audit. But we hadn't selected anyone. The finance director attended an event for, what did they call us? Oh, on the unit assistance list. And this came up as a free a free service, offered to communities on the unit assistance list.
Madam Manager, the zero cost for the town, so what happens with that 30, that other money? Is it at our disposal, or it's gotta stay in place?
We can reappropriate that anywhere else.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam
So-
Clerk.
We have a motion and a second to approve the resolution to enter into this agreement with the North Carolina League of Municipalities. And I'm not getting ahead of myself, but item D is the actual agreement.
Yes,
Okay, so first we need to do the resolution.
yes.
Yes, we have a motion now.
No.
Don't have a motion.
No, that's what
Y'all
we
talking too fast for me. Can we get a motion? Okay.
I make a motion to approve the resolution to approve the municipality accounting services, cybersecurity and technical assistance memorandum of agreement.
Second.
Now we have a motion and a second.
Got it?
Yeah, I thought we had one. We discuss it. Is there any discussion on this motion and
Read it
second?
backwards as usual.
Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we, approve the municipal accounting services, cybersecurity and technical assistance memorandum of agreement.
Second. Well, go ahead.
You go.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second that we approve item D, municipal accounting services, cybersecurity and technical assistance, the memorandum of agreement. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing none, all in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? This motion carries. We will move on to item E, request for updates on the electrical system, if you would, Ms. Manager.
So know this came up at our last meeting, our last special call meeting. And I think it was mentioned that, Commissioner Patterson wasn't aware that we had, discussed this before. So again, we discussed this at the August meeting, that we sent out an RFP, asking for investigation into the April 7th power surge. This discussion, it wasn't in the minutes, but it took place at the August meeting in the comments portion of the agenda before we went into closed session. And so at that time, I said that we sent out the request. We had no responses. We got questions back, but no one actually submitted a response. At the Electricity's conference, I approached a couple of the engineers that were present that I know received our request for proposal. And they basically just said the project was too small. It wasn't worth their time. They said if you can lump it in with something else, we could consider it at that time, but right now it's just not worth our time. Now they said they'd be happy to do it if we insisted, but it's gonna cost greatly. Now they didn't specify what that was. I talked it over with one of our Electricity's representatives, and he said that it would be best to maybe lump that in when we go out for the other electrical needs. Again, we've been talking about the conversion. Again, I've never seen a completed plan of the conversion. I've only seen pages of it. So we're gonna need to call in an engineer to look at where we go with this. I mean, there's been talk about starting the project in the pecan orchard, and we have the poles, but it hasn't been engineered. It hasn't been designed to say, yes, you need this height of pole, you need this transformer, or this many homes that can connect. That part hasn't been done. But again, I've been working on those things. I have a draft RFQ, but I just haven't had time to finish it. But I have been working on it. But again, we've talked about it. My statement hasn't changed as far as, what the town's responsibility is. But I think that when we move forward with this process, whatever that looks like, again, I think we all need to know what we're asking someone to do. We're asking to contract with someone to independently evaluate our system, and we will pay you for whatever that response may be. But also too, again, because it's not independent. And I think that regardless of however much money we spend, whatever actions we take, there may still be that air of we did something wrong, or oh well, we paid them to say that. So we're not going to get away from this. But again, I'm still working on it. I'm not requesting any action on this, but it was asked to put it on the agenda. So I'm open to whatever the discussion is.
So my review is that we now demand to continue on working with this and not take any action, as she just stated.
I do have a comment on this. When this all started, our original assessment was to upgrade our substation where the power come in at. And personally, I'm inclined to think that that would still be the best place to start. Simply because, I look at it as a car. You can put what you want to on a car, but if the engine is leaking and burning oil, you're not going too far anyway. So you need to fix the engine first. And I'm sure all you know up here know the obvious reasons why I say that. If you don't ask me at some point in time, and I will tell you, but I do think that that is the first place to start. That's what the money was originally intended for, and I don't really care about going back and fixing somebody else's mistakes. But we need to make sure that our system is something that we can live with. And to me, I'll say it again, that still seems to be the most obvious place to start, is at the heart of the system,
Where was that at?
the substation. That's where the power comes in.